Guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode on the Hunt. Today we're going to be doing a full deep dive and review on the all new for 2025 Rix Leap L6R. Stick around. So guys, thanks for joining me today. If this is your first time here on the Hunt, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button down below. It helps me a ton. I'm excited to get into this review, you guys. This is the all new Leap 6R, the L6R from Rix. And I was a big fan of the first Leap L6. So you guys are gonna wanna stick around and see what I think about this one as compared to the original. There's some really good upgrades and there's some things that are not my favorite. But before we jump into this review, you guys, as always, gotta give a huge shout out to my man Logan at Fall River Shooters. If you guys are in the market for anything thermal, hit up Logan at fallrivershooters.com. Tell him Cody from On the Hunt sent you. Guys, Logan has these in stock, by the way, the L6R. In fact, this is Logan's. Shout out Logan. Thank you for sending this out to the channel for review, testing, and that way I can give you guys my honest thoughts and feedback. Those of you who are new to the channel, probably it's important to know that all of my reviews on this channel are very much my own opinions, so your mileage may vary. I've tested a lot of thermals on the market. I've had a great opportunity, thanks to Logan and other thermal manufacturers, to test really all the premium flagship offerings out there today. So I have a really good, kind of broad understanding and knowledge of thermal optics, and so it allows me to be very subjective. It also allows me to not be biased toward any brands, right? I just kind of tell it how it is, and I think people really respect that. So enough jibber jabber on that, guys. Let's get into this review. Guys, this is the L6R from Rix, brand new for 2025, fall of 2025. And so this review, if you're watching it, it is October 2025. First things first, price on this model is $4,499, $4,499 US dollars. And I think that is a bargain. I think that Rix came into the market with this scope at the perfect price point. I think that is extremely fair given what you get out of this scope. So I just want to get that off the table. I put price kind of before a lot of things when it comes to thermals, because although there are lots of thermals out there to test, to evaluate, ultimately, for me, it comes down to price to performance ratio, and I think Rix did a really good job with this one. Spec-wise on this guy, you're looking at a 640 thermal resolution core, a sub 20 millikelvin NETD rating sensor, which is an improvement from the original Rix L6. You are getting onboard video and audio recording, built-in laser rangefinder. Obviously the R, which is part of this model, describes that, right? So onboard laser rangefinder, as opposed to the early, the first Rix Leap L6. If you wanted laser rangefinding, you had to pair a Bluetooth rangefinder, external rangefinder with it. It was powered by its own battery. Hated it, absolutely hated it. Really like this rangefinder. We'll get into that in a bit. So built-in laser rangefinding. You're gonna get a single 18650 battery, and you're gonna get about 4 hours of runtime on that single battery. They give you two for a total of around 8 hours of runtime. That's a little tricky, guys. Rix puts 8 hours total runtime on their spec, but it's really 4 hours per 18650. You're gonna get all your color palettes you would come to expect, your red hot, black hot, white hot, fusion, green, monochrome. I think that's pretty much it on this, guys. I do really like how they integrate the color palettes on this. Basically, you just turn this turret up here and that's gonna cycle through all your color palettes. I really like that. Some additional specs on this, guys. You're gonna have a 1080, very nice OLED display, you guys. I will say the display in this looks a little bit different than the original L6. I don't know what it is. I think it's wider or something. The actual aspect ratio looks different. Not a bad thing, just definitely looks a little different to me. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Beautiful to look behind though, no issues there. The resolution is nice, the screen's good and large, fills your eye. Good experience there. When it comes to eye cups, guys, the scope comes with this rubber eye cup. If you follow the channel, you know I hate these. I think I say that every single video. I don't really like this one at all because there's no good way to put it on, right? It's like, it just kind of, you have to stretch it over the top of this, this rear diopter, and like it's quite a bit smaller, so it's kind of a pain to stretch around it. With that said, once you get it on, it's probably not really coming off. Just not a fan, guys. Let's talk about audio and video, guys. Part of the upgrade for this L6R is they did upgrade both, and you'll be very happy to hear this, and I was extremely happy they did upgrade both the audio and video recording of this scope. So now you're gonna get a better video output quality. So those videos, when you watch them back, are gonna look a little bit nicer. And man, did they upgrade the audio in this scope, you guys. My biggest complaint with the first Leap was the poor audio. I went back and forth with Rix on this over and over. Hated the audio quality. Absolute trash. I've complained about it since day one. It hasn't changed. Luckily on this L6R, they fixed it, okay? The audio is now a solid 8 out of 10. You guys know I'm pretty hard on audio scores. An 8 is a very good score when it comes to audio. So Rix, thank you for fixing the audio. Thank you for addressing that. I appreciate it. All right, guys, let's talk about this laser rangefinder that Rix put in this scope. Now, they're kind of calling it in-lens LRF. I disagree. It's not really in the lens, kind of, like, if you ask me. The LRF's kind of really just bumped out on top of this objective lens. I suppose you could call it in lens, as in like maybe they cut a little bit of your lens off. I don't know. It's just different than the other in lens LRFs that I've seen kind of implemented today. And the biggest complaint I have with it is that this freaking lens cap, although it's a really nice lens cap, you can't turn it. So like it's literally just fixed. You have to open it, you know, to the right. I'm a lefty, so I focus the scope like this, and this cap, I like to pull my caps all the way back, or what I really like to do with my caps is turn them to the bottom and put the flap down against the rail of my rifle, and I simply can't do that with this scope. They gave you zero flexibility with the lens cap, and I hate that design. I think it was an overlook, and that's a big complaint I have. With that said, also, it's not an easily serviceable lens cap, so if you break this, you're kind of, I don't know, I think you might end up having to send this back. It doesn't really pop off the scope like other lens caps do. I don't know, just not my favorite lens cap. And then while we're talking about things I'm not a big fan of, this throw lever, it works pretty well. It's kind of big, I feel like. I don't think it needed to be quite so large. The zoom on this, the focus on this scope's really smooth. So I don't know, I think they could have got away with something else, maybe just a built-in bump on the front objective itself instead of this additional kind of afterthought. You guys can spin this lever here, it loosens this collar. You can take it off, right? And so that's fine. Like, that's all well and good. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of it. I guess I like the fact that you can remove it if you don't want it at all. I just kind of wish Rix just built in like a nub. I've seen the nub works really well on a lot of other scopes that have this focus collar, so I would have liked to have seen that. Over here, guys, you have this USB access port. You can charge the device. Actually, you can't charge the device with this. It won't charge the battery in through the device, but you can do your data transfer, and I believe you can power it externally. It just isn't going to charge that 18650 inside. Another really nice change they made on this scope from the original L6 is this battery door. So this battery door was a big pain point on the first L6, you guys. I think like most people would forget that they had to like push up on the little lever to really lock the door in. They've solved that on this new door. You just push this lever down, it opens up really nice, and your 18650 is inside. Put your 18650 back in, and then you just put some pressure, and the door closes. It locks itself automatically, and it's a really good design. A very nice upgrade from the original battery door. On the back, guys, we still have that feature from carrying over from the original L6, which is the ocular zoom or optical zoom. This was super controversial when Rix brought this to market. Basically, all it is magnifying your screen. It's not a true optical zoom. So what they're doing is they're basically taking a magnifying glass inside here and zooming in on the screen. So while it is a lot more lossless than digital magnification as it pertains to thermal scopes, you know, you still do start to see some of the pixels on the screen, and you know, it's not perfect. The other downfall to this is when you zoom in with this, it doesn't record that magnification in the video. So like, you know, if you zoom in on an animal, you take your shot, when you watch that video back, it's gonna just be in, you know, base mag or whatever digital magnification you were in at the time. If that's not a big deal to you, who cares? It's kind of a cool feature to have on the scope. The scope still has digital magnification, so you can spin this wheel forward over here on this side turret. You're gonna get digital magnification just like you normally would. This scope starts at 2.8 base magnification, by the way. That's probably a pretty important spec to a lot of you. It's a generous 2.8. I think it's really, you know, it stacks up with pretty much all 3x base mag scopes that I've used. So it's a generous 2.8. I don't think you're gonna, like, I wouldn't pick this. I wouldn't not pick this scope if you really wanted a 3x scope. Like, this is basically 3x. I would say you're not gonna be able to notice the difference. Field of view is also really nice, you know, with that big screen in here. It's a good scope, really nice to use. Image quality on this has improved a little bit, being that they went from a sub 25 millikelvin sensor down to a sub 20, and they've got their new AI technology sensor built into this scope. I don't really know what that means. I didn't read too much into it, but basically, you know, it's going to have a slightly better image quality, a little bit of an edge over the original L6. Enough to upgrade? Probably not, but when you put all of the things into this scope that they went ahead and upgraded and fixed, I absolutely think it's worth the upgrade. If you can sell your L6 for, you know, a price that doesn't hurt your wallet too much, and you can kind of swallow that loss and put it towards this L6R, if you're a big fan of the L6, and you're a fan of Rix products or whatnot, maybe you've had a good experience, it's definitely worth the upgrade. I would have to say. So if we're going to talk about some things I don't like about this scope, guys, it's rather large, rather heavy. I already addressed the lens cap. It's a little bit large, a little bit heavy. It's definitely heavier than pretty much every tube style scope I've reviewed on the channel. And you know, it is what it is, guys. Like, they're packing a lot into this. It is built really nicely. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a con because it's heavy and it is large. If you're in the market for a compact lightweight scope, this isn't it. So do with that what you will. If you're in the market for a tube style scope, they're all kind of heavy. With respects to like the Wave Atra 650 non-LRF, that thing's light. And it feels super compact, even though it's a full size tube scope, 640 res. So kind of like, if you want lightweight, that's where you'd probably go for tube style. But again, like, I wouldn't not pick this. If you're going for tube style with built-in LRF, I wouldn't not pick it if you're a fan of Rix. I will say, guys, on the original L6, this throw lever knob did break off on me, and that's kind of a bummer. And they didn't make any changes to this one. It's the same. Basically, the connection between this this throw lever knob here and the body that's anodized aluminum, it's just a tiny little, underneath this, it's just a tiny little stem, and it breaks off really easily. So just be gentle with that. Keep that in mind. The rear diopter on this, you guys, is very, very buttery smooth. It works really, really nice. You have a lot of eye relief you can mess around with. So, you know, guys with bolt guns with this, you're gonna have plenty of adjustment for eye relief and, you know, get a comfortable view within the scope, you know, display. You're not gonna be missing out on data. You're gonna be able to read everything on your screen, so that's really good. Guys, on the original L6, it first shipped with just a couple of cheap crap Chinese 30mm rings that mounted individually of each other. This one now, well, man, that's a whole saga of its own. Then they had this deal where if you know, bought a Rix during a certain time, they would give you a free American Defense one-piece recon mount that was made for the scope. Now, one of the things about these Rix is because this bell down below, this big ball that's part of the center housing is so big, you actually need a little bit taller one-piece mount if you're going to go one piece. And so Rix partnered with ADM. They did a one-piece that fit it, and they were offering that for free with purchase of the original L6. Now Rix has what appears to be, and I did have one of these on that first L6, and I love it. They have their own Rix branded. They designed it in-house. It's a very nice mount, you guys. It's one piece. It does a really nice job. I love these spring-loaded levers. They're smooth, they're tactile. Honestly, I have nothing bad to say about this one-piece mount. I'm a big fan of it, and I love that now it's included for free with this L6R for the original price of $44.99. I think that's awesome. So I've kind of bounced back and forth between things I really like about this scope and things I don't. And I kind of like that because I don't want to just jam a bunch of things I don't like, jam a bunch of things I do like, and have it kind of seem, you know, like one-sided either way or the other, because guys, there is a lot to like about this scope. If I'm going to talk about something else I don't like, I do not like the navigation in the menus, and this is no different than the original L6. It's the same thing, but you have 3 turrets on this scope. They all spin, okay? A lot of scopes that have like this kind of turret design, they don't all spin, or if they do, they don't all have to be used together to navigate your menus. And with this scope, that is the case. You have to use all of these turrets to navigate your menus. So on this side of the scope, you guys, we've got your video and rangefinder button. So a quick tap is going to enable your rangefinder, put it in continuous or scan mode. A long press is going to enable your video recording. That is different than the L6, because the L6, you would just quick tap your video or picture a video button and it would start video. And I love that because you could literally just quick tap it, you had video going, and that was that. Like, you didn't have to press and hold it. With this one, you do have to press and hold it to enable video, but that's because they went with a dual function button for laser range finding. So you press the button, it enables your laser rangefinder, you hold the button, you get video. But back to the navigation piece, when you start spinning this turret here, you're going to immediately enter a large menu. There is like no real sub menu in this scope. So you immediately enter your large menu. It's going to give you all your options, and you can navigate that side menu on the side up and down with this turret. And then what's going to happen is once you get onto a option in the menu, you're going to need to probably go left or right, and that is when this top turret comes into play. So then you have to navigate left and right with this top turret. And then, and this is where I start to really get kind of frustrated with this, then you have options way off to the side on the right hand side of the scope where you have to navigate them up and down with this turret all the way on the right. So it's a 3-turret navigation system. Once you figure it out, it is logical, it makes sense, but I don't like it. It's not easy, it's not intuitive, and when you first start using this thermal scope and you get into places where you need to zero the scope and really manipulate settings, it's kind of like frustrating because you're like over here, then you're up here, then you're over here, then you're back to here. So it's just, it's all over the place. I don't really like the menu navigation. Haven't really liked it since day one. The other thing is I don't really like the colors they use in here. That light blue color is, for me, just a no-go. I'm very color deficient. I struggle with colors. And so when you put that light blue color up against everything else, I struggle to see it. And I know I'm not the only one. I've seen and read about this on you know, some Facebook groups and things like that. So I wish kind of Rix would, you know, address that. Guys, aside from all of that, this scope is solid. It's extremely well built. You know, you have your laser rangefinder. I think I forgot to mention, I don't know how I forgot to mention this. You get ballistic calculation with this scope. I guess I forgot to mention it because pretty much everything now with a built-in laser rangefinder, you're going to get ballistic calculation. This scope is no exception. So with this ballistic calculation, you get a range with your rangefinder. It tells you how far the target is, you know, 200 yards or whatever, and then you get a point of impact or suggested point of aim in your scope. That's where you're supposed to aim, and you pull the trigger, you should hit, right? What makes that happen? That's the ballistic calculation piece. You plug in all the data for your projectile, your rifle, your barrel length, all the good stuff. And then this has a algorithm in it where it can tell you what your bullet drop is. Now, I have to tell you, I have not put this on a rifle and tested the actual ballistic calculation piece. I've merely gone out with, this was on a rifle. I went out and got some video with it, obviously, that you're gonna see, but I didn't test the ballistic calculation. I have to assume it works pretty darn well. It worked great on the DBH D6, and so there were really no real complaints around that. So I'm gonna guess they use the same type of algorithm to put it into this scope. And if there are any issues with that, guys, ballistic calc is relatively easy to, you know, implement and use. So I'm assuming Rix would take right care of that if there were any issues. Speaking of Rix taking care of stuff, guys, they have a pretty good warranty, 5 years, which is really industry standard now. So 5 years on this scope, that's pretty darn generous. And I know a lot of people who have had to deal with Rix warranty stuff. It can be hit or miss, right? It can be. I do know that. I would be probably lying if I said, oh, they're the best, you know, service in the industry, because I know they're not. But you know, they're not the worst, right? I've definitely dealt with worse service and even heard horror stories from other manufacturers with far worse service. So I think you're getting a good package here. $44.99, guys. I do want to quickly show you the case it comes in. So this is the nice Rix case. You're gonna get the buckles to keep it secure. Comes with a charger, comes with two 18650 batteries, as I mentioned, you guys. That's about it. If this video helped you at all, guys, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And again, if you're in the market for a thermal scope, please hit up Logan over at Fall River Shooters and tell him Cody I Own the Hunt sent you. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later.